You got me okay?
Hmm.
All right, good deal, man.
What do we feel about preseason top 25 University of Illinois? Are they gonna choke or are they gonna prove everybody wrong? Or
Nine
or stay
offensive
with
starters,
it?
nine offensive, seven defensive starters back, you know? Um,
Plus a hell of a good coach finally.
yeah. Um, I did forward that link to Shane. Have we had issues with that in the past, or can I,
No,
okay, good deal. So he should find, honestly, I give him credit. He got the invite at 6:34
we're fine.
and jumped on. So,
We sometimes fly by the seat of our pants, so it'll work. It'll be okay.
that makes it exciting. It was
It's
fun.
this it's the semi-pro in us.
It's, it's a good analogy.
The semi-pro, yeah.
I mean, every time Illinois does well, the next season's 5-7 or 3-9.
I
So
know. That's the
I'm
thing.
always
And
guarded, but on paper, this is about as good as it's ever looked.
I
You
mean,
know,
they've had because they went bowling the last 2 years, right?
no, they had the 5-7 in between
Oh,
the
okay.
4 and the 10. And again, once again,
Yeah.
right? That team on paper, honestly, to me, 2 years ago was better than last year's team. But
Yeah.
you know, I think Bielema was good at turning them into a unit, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
some of those seniors he lost. In all honesty,
Well, and I mean, like, let's be honest, this is probably the first, and you know more than I would, but like, this is the last time I can remember that their starting quarterback is the same guy 2 years in a row, too, right?
right?
Like,
Yeah,
because
Altmaier. And honestly, as 2 years ago, Altmaier didn't impress me at all.
yeah,
Uh, and I was ready for him not to impress me again uh, last year. But honestly, I thought he improved a lot.
yeah,
I
he's pretty
really,
good.
they like him this year. I mean, I don't know. Dom will have a comment, I'm sure, but he honestly, I don't know that he's elite. I don't think he's tall enough. I've been on a field with him, and that's a big issue for him. I thought the first year he came up that Paddock was him because of the height. He just had more height.
Height doesn't mean shit, Brent.
It's not. It doesn't mean shit. I mean, it's not an overarching thing, but NFL wise, and
Yeah, but who
NFL
cares?
is.
Is it the University of Illinois or the Chicago Bears? They don't.
I guess, yeah. I'm just saying, as far as elite goes, they got all five linemen back, so he'll probably know how to. Um, he'll probably know how to throw between them. Hey, I'm going to make
Yeah,
sure I got this to the right Shane.
you're
Give me
good.
just a second.
No, I mean, they got a good O-line group and a good O-line coach, so they'll be good. What's the Missouri
Better than
preseason?
Illinois.
No, they're not. Are
Not in
they
most polls, but I don't know that that means anything.
We're
they're
ranked
also in
higher.
they're in the damn SEC like.
Yeah, we're ranked higher, and we're gonna wax that ass next year when we play them like we did the previous 8 or 9 times.
Oh, are they on the schedule next year again?
That's a
That's
lot
back.
of. That's
I think
some.
is it next
Yeah.
year, Brent? Does it start next year?
Yeah, but I just saw that like something happened with the scheduling, and now it's not a home and away for 6 or 8 years. And like we had to leave two of them that were going to be in Champaign. I don't know what happened. I just saw that on Twitter yesterday and haven't gotten to the bottom of it.
Are they
Um,
not going to play in the TWA Dome anymore? Is that not a thing?
I don't know.
um,
I thought they were next year, but maybe I'm wrong. But
Home of the St. Louis
I
Battlehawks?
think these are home and aways, Dom.
are
I,
they?
I do. I really do think so.
I bet they'll move one of them though at one point. Let's see. Well,
Hang on.
Mizzou should be good. They got a new quarterback. That's going to be the key. They got the kid from Penn State, who I think is
No.
talented, but we'll see if he can throw.
All right.
Good.
I sent it to his. Shane's got a couple Facebook pages, so I just tried the different one. Let me
Okay.
see if that worked.
That's fine. If not, we can talk to each other and look at each
Yeah.
other's pretty faces.
Looks like I'm trying to find this thing. Future.
He's coming. Well, see, his Shane Moore is kind of his public one. Anyway, it's a he should jump on here. I think he finally got it.
Okay.
I got to the right guy, but yeah,
We've been recording this whole time anyway, so
I know. And this is what's usually I'm late getting on or have technical problems. And
I
it's always,
had
I know
technical
it's after
problems,
you're
yeah.
recording. Like
I know.
nobody knows, Tony. You always look like smooth as hell. And then once it's recording,
Yeah. It's because I get everything out of the way.
Yeah, next year's in Champaign, and then the following year's in Columbia. It looks like it's home and home through 2029.
Week 1?
No, week 3 next year.
Okay.
But we play KU on the road and then at Illinois. That's gonna be fun.
I don't think KU is going to be able to hold on to.
Yeah, they will.
Really?
Well,
You
unless
like the coach?
Fickle gets fired and Leipold goes to Wisconsin, which is a very I could see happening. I could see that scenario happen. Fickle's got to win 10. Like Fickle has not had a lot of success. He doesn't do a good job in the state. Um, and Leipold is royalty. Like he won 8 national titles at Whitewater. Like I think
Yeah.
8, so whatever stupid number. So he's royalty in this state. He
You're
would come
deeper in
in.
those circles than me, but I mean, you know
Well,
better than me.
he would come in and make Wisconsin relevant again immediately, like
Yeah.
immediately. Like they would get all of the top kids would stop leaving the state. I mean the best over the last 2 years, the 2 years ago or this past season, the best offensive lineman went to Penn State. 2 years ago, the best O lineman and the best running back went to Penn State. Like
Yeah.
those guys shouldn't be leaving the state of Wisconsin when there's a Big Ten school here.
Cry me a river.
I mean, I'm not a
Wisconsin and Iowa for 40 years.
I'm not a
And the
Wisconsin
good ones
fan.
we go to Notre Dame.
I'm not a Wisconsin fan. Like I'm
I'm
just
just
saying,
saying.
it's tough.
It's not going to break. There he is.
Yeah, he's coming in.
Oh, there's Tracy. There he is. There's the guy. Hey, Tracy, how are you?
Okay.
Man, look at this guy.
I'm in my
I know you remember Shane. I think from 11 man. We didn't play the Cougars much when they split. Into two
yeah, we
divisions.
never. I remember Shane. I remember seeing the name. I remember him seeing him on some message boards. I think, but I don't think I ever played against you, Shane.
We had to once because there was a time me and Troy Helton and Shane were all down in, unless you were away that weekend, we're all down in Carlinville at a bar. I'll never forget that happened. You right? I mean, you remember that, right, Shane?
Maybe refresh my recollection.
I think you were still law enforcement then. And that was the kind of, those were the kind of things that I like to tell all my teammates right up front. So,
yeah.
But yeah, man. I knew Shane probably before you, Tony, even you came in, and certainly before you, Dom, from the old Midwest Football League when Kenny Miles left, started the team in Carlinville from what was the Bucks. Shane was one of his guys pretty much from the beginning on.
2000, I was the second year guy.
Yeah. Okay. Not the very first. But
did you play for the Bucks, Shane, or were you right away with the? No. Okay.
No, I came down and heard about the team. It was almost going to be called the Jaguars. If I remember right. And then he went with the Cougars, and I joined on the second year. And that first year was pretty rough for him.
There were a lot of extra NFL expansion team decals for helmets. So it was either going to be the Cougars, which is actually the Carolina Panthers logo,
correct,
or the Jaguars. That's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. We got to make do with what we got, right?
Well, and it looks cooler too. I mean, especially at that time period.
Yeah. All right. I always ask origin stories. That's my thing. Was that your first foray into semi-pro football, or did you goof around?
No, that was my first. Yeah, I was out of the military, and I was a copping, and I thought I was a superstar football. I was a superstar compared to my friends.
Yeah.
And I was in for a rude awakening when I got to camp as a 175-pound strong safety rookie. Yeah, it was. I got especially when we put pads on.
Yeah,
it was stages. So I thought I was fast and discovered I was not. And then I thought I was decent size and discovered I was not. And then when we put pads on, I thought I was a hitter and discovered that I was not.
You say no, come on now. I've seen some clips. You could freaking bring the thunder a little bit.
I got better. I got better.
Yeah.
Well, so here's what happened. So it was the first day of pads in camp. Well, I played high school ball. I didn't play college ball, which much to my detriment, because in high school, the big linemen, they were big and heavy, but they were kind of soft, right? Like they weren't strong. Yeah. They didn't get a lot of momentum going. And
where'd you go to high school? Pardon me.
Carlinville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you're from Carlinville. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Little 3A school, 4A, depending on the year. And so I was playing strong safety, and we ran that power sweep, and we had Marcus Anderson running the ball. and thank goodness I ran into the Stahlschmidt instead of Anderson. And Stahlschmidt rubbed the end and then pulled out. And linebacker got caught in a blitz. So it was me and the lead blocker, which was Stahlschmidt. And I wanted to make the team, and I wanted to show the coaches, like, you know, I could play. And I just let Stahlschmidt have it. I hit him so hard, and I saw my nose, I saw stars, my nose burned. I swear I saw the sky of the grass. And I hit the ground, and I hear everybody going, "Oh!" And I just got decimated. Of course, Stahlschmidt, where does he play D1? I can't remember where Stahlschmidt played. I want to say Mississippi Valley, but it was a Southern school.
Okay.
But he was a left tackle. He was really good.
And obviously I've heard about Marcus Anderson from Chris Lawson's stories a million times, but I never got to meet him or see him play or see any game footage of him. But I've just Dom, that's the guy that had a cup of coffee with the Indianapolis Colts. Is that right? Or Baltimore Colts? Was it Indy at the time?
It was Indy.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you guys ever play against Leroy McFadden?
I know the name.
From King County Eagles?
Yeah, for the King County Eagles. I actually remember him when he was in Michigan State, but I never played against him.
So when you hit him, your gut would lift up into your upper chest cavity, and you would hear the squish sound in your ears.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Marcus hit like that. He had that extra. You always could tell the top guys. They always had that. They didn't even look it, but they just had that. It's like they had an extra 15 pounds under their shoulder pads or something. You felt it, and that was Marcus. Marcus was
was he big, Brent? I don't even know. Was he a big guy?
No, I wouldn't. He was big to me back then, but looking back now, he wasn't too big. He was big quads.
Yeah.
He was probably, I'd say 200, maybe. Kenny would know more.
Yeah.
I was a pretty young player, back then, but
you're talking Marcus, right?
Marcus, yeah, Marcus.
Yeah.
He was honestly, he was kind of a clone of Marcus Cox, who I think you guys, I mean, that's who that would be my comparison.
Okay.
Marcus Cox was a lot shorter. Like
the height was different, but they were similar.
I gotcha.
He was kind of like a George Wilson. I don't know that he had the limbs and the build, but he was a hell of a back. Stahlschmidt was kind of like the Gashaw before Gashaw was the Gashaw. I mean, he was a 6'5" dude who just looked,
that name.
Stahlschmidt didn't look imposing. He wasn't a big weight room guy.
But I mean, he was taller than me and broad. I mean, he was 6'5", I think. I mean, but it wasn't coming out of his
6'5", 6'6". That's about Stahlschmidt. Stahlschmidt was, if you watch film on Stahlschmidt, his football IQ was real high. So he was always positioning himself in the good spot.
Yeah.
So he, you couldn't catch him in a bad spot, which made it even worse when you were coming. But he after that hit, he cussed me. He was cussing, effing rookies and tryhards and
the
throwing
tryhards.
and I thought I died. I remember laying in the grass, and it was in June, so the grass was all dry and pokey.
Yeah.
I'm all sweaty, and I'm laying on my back. And I remember thinking to myself, why am I out here?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I was like, why am I out? I could be at home in air conditioning playing this shit on Madden. Why am I here?
I remember we had those moments. Yeah, I mean, that was like the first year with the Outlaws when we had 50 guys at practice every day.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple times. I mean, I can remember
conditioning was gauntlet sometimes, Tony, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Well, they had bodies. Let's do it.
We had bodies. Yep. I mean, I remember kind of the same story as you, Shane, except opposite. I was playing fullback and I think we ran a sweep and I went and I don't know if it was Tyrone Womack or Ulysses, but at the time I was scared shitless of both of them because I didn't know who they were.
What do you mean at the time?
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's true. Well, because I wasn't, but after becoming their teammate, it became less. But I remember going around the end and kind of the same thing. I saw somebody, I saw someone on defense, and I remember leaving my feet to go block him, and just trying to impress somebody. And
right,
Lord knows it didn't impress Brent. I don't think I ever impressed Brent. So
at center, you impressed me. I have to admit it now. But there were just those guys who you hit I know you guys all know this because like I hit people hard, and Shane was close. I want to give Shane this credit because when he came out his first and second year, he probably wasn't there. And he was in law enforcement, so there's a physical fitness aspect of that. You know, we all worked at getting better on the field, and some of us even worked at getting better on the weight room, and that was Shane. I mean, like you know, it was both. You know, and for
Oh
some of
yeah.
us, it was one or the other, or
Well, it's
neither.
probably had to probably some football and some work related trying to
Well,
kind of
you know, a
keep.
couple years later, when you saw this guy, all of a sudden, I mean, he was still, you know, still a little short for a middle linebacker. I mean, it was, you know, it wasn't a Troy Helton guy. He was a Jeff Thomas guy. And,
Mhm.
but all of a sudden, he's hitting hard. He's got arms, you know, he's got his, can't see as much of his neck anymore. And you know, he's putting it on people a little bit. So, and I mean, now we'll talk about your current weight issue, weightlifting issue. The, you know, there weren't a lot of guys who did it both on and off the field. I mean, I have to give him credit because he came back and made all league a bunch of times.
Well-
Middle linebacker when he was too small and slow and too small to play safety at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how mu-
Well,
Hell of a transfer.
my first year, I wasn't even, I probably wouldn't even have made the team. That was back when the Cougars where you had 70 guys in camp, you know, and he kept 50, 53 or whatever the MFL,
Yeah.
not the NFL. We know what the NFL is 53, but I don't remember what the NFL's, the Midwest said you could have, but they were cutting guys.
Mhm.
And the only reason I made the team in 2000 was because they had a bet. Like I was in good shape, but I was trying to impress, and I didn't get a lot of scrimmage time because I was a nobody.
Mhm.
So I tried to impress in drill. So I ran every drill, no matter how tired I was, at full speed, and I would throw up and pass out. And they had a
That
side
pissed
bet.
me off way more than the guys who hit hard. Okay.
Yeah.
The sprinting and the drills is what pissed the line off.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and so the coaches had a side bet. All of them said I'd quit, and Kenny said, "No, I don't think so. Like I don't think so. There's this guy. I think he's going to stick around." So they bet Kenny. So Kenny, every time they would cut, he just kept me until I didn't quit. I just made it into camp, and I was a strong safety with the number 83 because
Oof.
that was the leftover jersey they had.
Oof.
I never saw the position field as strong safety my rookie year, but they threw me on kickoff. And that year, the 2000, we were averaging almost 40 points a game. So we kicked off all the time.
Mhm.
You guys
And
won
I
the league that
discovered-
year. I mean, you guys won the league that year, correct, Shane? I think.
No, we lost to Decatur Bears in 2000.
Okay, but you were
Yeah.
you played the championship game against the Decatur Bears.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
And but I discovered in minor league ball, the timing on special teams, it kind of isn't there, right? So what I discovered, if I wanted to make a tackle and they got the blocker, the second row guys, I would kind of run 2 steps to the right and I would look right. And that guy would think the back is over there. He'd turn his hips. Then I would just cut right back up on the inside, unblocked, and make a tackle. So I
Yeah.
looked like a superstar. So everyone's like, what the heck's 83 doing? That's more. What's he doing? Like he's got like 3 tackles this game on special teams. So that kind of helped me make a name. And then after the Stahlschmidt hit, I decided I got up and instead of going home, I kept practicing and decided I got to get in the weight room.
Yeah.
So I just started training. I put on about 10. If you go look at each photo, I put on about 10. I put on about 15 pounds of muscle, but I always lose 5 in camp because Kenny would dog us in camp. Holy cow! And so I put about 10 pounds a year. So I think 2004 we signed a kid out of Blackburn College, All-American named Brian Delp for strong safety, and he was stuck behind me. But by then I was a starter and was doing well. And it was a bad year. It was an off year. I think we were like 4-5 or 5-5. Like we weren't making the playoffs, and we were missing linebackers. And Kenny said, "Well, hey, you want to play weak side linebacker?" And I thought, Kenny, I'm 215 pounds. Like I'm too small. And in our era, that's small for a linebacker.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you're 215. You're a good sized linebacker because everybody runs the spread, you know. But he goes, "Oh, it'll be okay. We'll run it in a nickel formation. I'll blitz you a lot." And I was pretty skeptical, but I knew that Delp was good. I knew he could start, and I've always I like winning. I don't care if I'm riding the bench. I want to win. And if I'm riding the bench, I just need to work harder and get better to get on the field. So that's on me. But I want the team to win. And if the guy on the field's better, I want to win. So I thought, well, he's good enough to start. Was 180 pounds, so he definitely wasn't going to lineback. So that, all right. And my first linebacking game was against Effingham, and he blitzed me a lot. I had like 4 sacks, and I was loving it. I thought I was a superstar. So I came out in 2005. I ate a lot too. So I normally would put on about 10 to 15 pounds. I actually put on like 20 pounds that year, a lot more fat. But I was about 225, 230 going into 2005. And my cardio was great, but I was eating pizza. Then we had that barbecue shop, and every day after the gym, I'd go up and get a barbecue pork steak and a
When the
can of
coach
baked
owns
beans.
and it's really good. Kenny knows. He knew his stuff. When a coach owns a really good barbecue shop, you got to watch your lineman, man. I'm just telling.
Yeah. So I would go up there after every training day and get a couple barbecue pork steaks and a bunch of beans, and I put on some weight. 2005 was my year. I got Defensive Player of the Year, and we had a really good team. We weren't national level quality, but we could compete. We would hang with the top teams. And then so we actually were considering a national run. Like I think we had a tournament invite, and Kenny was thinking about it. So Kenny's like, well, there's this real good team we're going to bring in to play on our bye weeks called the Mid-State Steel. And we were like, yeah. We weren't too. We're like, oh, they got this guy, and they got a couple of former Sharks guys. And we're like, how can they be good? And boy, the Steel put it on us, like right out of the gate, bang, score a touchdown. We punt. They turned a punt for a score. We're down like 14-0, like in the first quarter. Like, what is going on? So we tried to tighten it up and switch some things around, but it was much better in the second half. But that first half, like they just wrecked us. They had Brian Davis for fullback. Yeah, that was a game. I think their DN had a Madden ranking, like he was on Madden.
Sean Bell.
Yeah, Sean Bell.
Sean Bell. Yeah. Had a Madden tight end rating, but he played D in the league.
Yeah, that guy. Like it was just insane. Like that was a team.
Well, and that squad was deep too. That was kind of like the Cougar squads that were. I mean, I think they cut people that year.
That's crazy. Like the two running camps still. Like I can't imagine that. Like we talked about that first year with the Outlaws having preseason camp and practices, but like after that for us it was like show up on practice maybe once a week and then show up on Saturdays. I couldn't imagine.
We still didn't cut anybody. I mean,
no, we never. Well, we had a couple. We had a couple guys that sort of.
I mean, some of the Stallions actually were going to cut. They cut. I mean, and this was before the up a league indoor.
Oh yeah, 06. We cut a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was ever on a team that cut people. But I guess again, that's 8-man. When you're cutting guys from an 11-man roster, you got a lot of guys showing.
I mean, that shows like Shane was saying, that 70 guys in camp. That shows how much. Because it dwindled, I'm sure, a little bit after that. But the sheer numbers you guys had.
In 2003. We lost Corey to NFL Europe, and he didn't thrive there. I don't know. Rumors this, rumors that. I'm not going to repeat them, but he didn't thrive there. He didn't have success. And then we lost. We had a tackle. I don't like the guy. We're not friends, but I will say I thought he was a pretty decent tackle.
Last name
yeah, well, yeah.
Todd Purcell, and then we lost him to Marina teams over in Europe, and then some guys did this. Marcus Anderson, we lost him. I don't know why he quit playing. So we lost some guys, and then it was competitive. So then the guys that would come that would pitch in quit coming, and we dwindled down to 45 guys, which is still a lot, but we weren't cutting people anymore. So after 2003 and then 2004, we lost like everybody. And it was that was a rough year. We had we signed new people. We were like the Bad News Bears. We would show up. We would blow a team out and then turn right around. And if we played that team again and then get blown out, it just made no sense.
You got a couple gems out of that, right, Shane? I mean, I think that's when Bates started showing up for you guys. That ended up benefiting the out. I mean, Marcus Bates started showing up. Broughton could kick as well as anybody ever has.
We didn't get Broughton until Broughton came later.
06, 07, 08.
Yeah. 08, I think.
But like didn't Big Ant start showing up about then when he wasn't playing down in the St. Louis area anymore? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, Big Ant was showing up. Well, we
Pfeiffer
had
and those guys. Reggie.
Reggie was
Yeah.
Reggie was so weird. He didn't have I don't even know how to put Reggie was a freak. He kind of if Javon Kirsch was a 5'11" linebacker, tight end, punter, what
He was
all
Reggie.
the things.
I remember
Reggie.
You
Yeah,
guys
I
just
really-
was a little fortunate in a way, Shane, where like, you know, Tony, Dom, you probably remember, like you get a St. Louis guy up every so often. We get Dion, you know, sometimes and whatever.
Yeah.
But you guys were close enough that they could become every Saturday. I mean, it was just another 45 minutes off the drive. But if you
Yeah.
got a good guy from the Metro East or the north side of St. Louis, he could be on the roster as an every weekend guy. I mean, me and Rob drove down and picked up Big Ant once from Edwardsville. You know,
There were so many teams down there though. Like you had the Bulldogs
Right.
and the Central the Cyclones. Like there were so many good teams
but Kenny had his down there. I mean, he really did. Kenny,
Oh, no doubt,
worked
no
that
doubt.
pretty well.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, okay. You moved from. You talked about your rookie year into going into year 2. Were you still jersey number 83, or did you finally get a better number?
No, so my second
the
year
best.
I got the second string job outright. Like I earned it. I got a 47 number,
Okay.
which was John Lynch.
Yeah.
So they gave me the 47 number, and right before week 1, the starter got hurt. So then I was the starter, and I'd make some great plays and then turn right around and do some bonehead stuff. We played Lafayette Lions that year. Maybe that was 03. I think it was 02.
I don't think Lafayette was until 03.
I was gonna say, and that was the year they won the league. They were loaded.
Well, they won our part, but I think like Belleville or
did Belleville beat? Yeah, Belleville beat them. That's
Belleville
right.
got it all
was-
right.
Belleville was 03. Well, we played Lafayette. We beat them at home. And
That's impressive. We could
Well, that's
never
right. I
beat
guess
them.
they were because I forget what's his name. What was the guy that played a line for them? Shrimp.
Yeah, Brian Shrimp was the center.
He had played for like 10 years prior,
Yeah.
so they must have been hanging around. But that 03 season they were loaded.
It must have been.
But they played in the MCFL, Tony. I think they didn't come to the Midwest Football League until 03.
They were different.
They weren't around in 02 when the Bucks were losing every game. I don't believe. I could
Okay.
be wrong. But that Mid-Continental League with like they were in it, I believe.
Yeah, I got you.
But I was just inexperienced. I would jump a post route. I'd see the post and read it, and I'd jump it and I'd pick it. And then the quarterback would be like, well, he jumped that. And I'm too young and inexperienced to recognize that. So then he would pump it. I would jump, and then they hit me with the post corner and they'd score a touchdown. And Kenny would be but you knew Kenny was mad when he didn't even talk to you. He didn't even talk. You know, you're going back to the huddle or something, and then some guy's like, Shane, you're out. And I go to the sideline, and he don't even he see me coming, and he just turned his shoulder. He don't even want to talk to you, so you don't even talk to him. You go get some water.
Yeah.
Oh, Kenny he had a way of talking slow and soft to you.
Yeah,
it really hurt. Kenny never.
He made you feel like it was kind of like a Cosby Kid in a way, because
he talked to you like you're a kid. You were a kid he was disappointed in. Like you were his 5-year-old kid, and you weren't mad. You just like wiped shit on the walls, and he's like, young man, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met Kenny Miles.
And he would be like,
It's
and
a treat.
you knew he was mad when he used curse word euphemisms, because he didn't really curse. I've heard him curse, but he doesn't do it much.
Mhm.
And he would be like, he would look at you and be like, God, dog it, and just shake his head. And then turn away from you. And you're just like, oh man, I'm really messed up.
Cheese and fries. What are you doing?
Yeah. He'd be like, God, dog it. Just
God dog it. Oh.
or he would just use your first name only. Shane. And then he'd purse his lips together and be like, shake his head.
And again, it was
let
the
you
child-
know
it was
he's
a child
disappointed.
If he would have known our middle names, he would have used them like our mothers did. I mean, it was he just didn't know them. The one Kenny, the time I got mad, Shane, you were on the field, and we decided we were going to score again before halftime from our own 30, and we bomb one out. They catch it, somehow return it for 6, and I'm losing my mind. Not at the coach whatsoever, but we get back in the huddle, and I'm mad.
The quarterback, exactly.
Probably. But Kenny finally, just after I'm done venting everything, it's quiet, and he goes, man, Brent, I love the passion, but it just can't be like this every halftime. It's just like,
He,
That
I mean,
was
that
that
hurt me.
2009.
And I mean, that was worse than every terrible thing Tony said to me and everybody who's told me to shut the F
well,
up.
we were used to your halftime tirades. It was part of halftime, so we just knew
Chris,
what was happening.
Chris only he didn't plan for 20 minutes halftime, planned for 18 because the first two were trying to bring for control.
He let Brent get his anger up for 2 minutes, then he calmed down.
God, yeah.
So how many years did you play, Shane? When was your last season playing?
I played 2000 to 2010. The Cougars went dormant. And then I did 3 years 8-man with the Cougars 8-man team.
Okay.
And then I was just getting old and fat after ball. And I got hit rear-ended in a car crash and had brain and nerve damage. I was all messed up, couldn't move my left side. And then my kids I started doing rehab, getting injections in my neck and all other kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my kid signed, the Cougars fired back up and my kid signed with them. And in his mind, I was still a stud and I knew I was a dud. But I thought, well, what are the odds that you get to play a season with your kids? So I started training and I knew I was in trouble because I did team warm-ups in my front yard and I threw up and passed out.
Oh gosh.
Doing warm-ups. It was rough. And I'd already had 3 knee surgeries. I got plates and screws. And I was a mess. Well, I thought, well, I'm going to do it because this is a once in a lifetime chance. And I can't say, well, next year because I'll just be 44. I was 43. And so 2019, I came out and I still was like 4th in the team in tackles. I ended up getting a starting spot. And we were Bad News Bears for certain in that game. And then we got a bowl invite. We were supposed to be the pushovers, the team you invite to beat up on. And we played the Kentucky Spartans. They were the 2018 national champs. I think it was a Florida tournament. Because now the national champ tournaments, they're all over the U.S.
They're everywhere. Yeah,
it's always a mythical national championship.
Yeah.
So it's not like our days when there was one national championship.
No.
But you still got to be good to win because there'll be some quality teams. But in any case, so they made a super team for this Ohio River Bowl. And they invited us to come play it. And it was an exhibition game because, the bowl game, whatever. And they bought this big ass trophy and everything. And I swear I felt like I was 300 Spartans. Like their players were blotting out the sun. It was like from the 5 to the 5 was players. I'd never seen nothing like it. It was insane.
And you guys probably rolled up with 30 dudes.
Like 31, I think.
Yeah.
and then we beat them.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
Yeah, my kid got rookie of the year, and then I retired for good.
Yeah, you're the second second guy on this podcast who's got to play a game with his son after Chuck Ridgway. Chuck Ridgway did
second middle linebacker
prior on the same time frame too.
Yeah, there is the Eagles, East Central Missouri Eagles. They've got a father and 2 son duo.
Oh wow.
Baquettes. Dylan and Dylan's was a quarterback. The other son's a receiver, and the dad, and he's competing. I won't say anything bad about him, but he's not.
Wow.
He's old. Just like I was in 2019.
Nobody needs to forget the Mid-State Thunderbirds father-son duo for years.
That guy was the man.
He looked like Chuck Norris.
And when Don was living with me, and I kind of took him under my wing.
That was a father-son duo.
We might be the first father-son duo to play on different teams. So,
they're on different teams.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
You didn't clean your room. I'm coming.
So Shane, I'll tell a nice. I've told it before, but I know your people probably will watch this. When Shane gets a chance to tell his life story, it's going to be very interesting. Both what he found out about growing up, what he did after being a cop, and what he's doing now. He's an interesting dude. He's a friendship I'm very glad I made from another team. But I think he was building up to the fact that you also wore number 50. But I've told this story, but I want your people to hear it about the time that I came down to play for the Crush, and you gave me your jersey. And we had shit on each other for years about number 50. I mean, literally every time we got on the field, and there was just nothing that fit me. They had these huge linemen, that it was a nightgown on me. and they had
That's
DBs.
that big.
I mean, they were here, like, Jermaine Ewing, you guys had, and even like Big Ant,
Yeah.
it was too easy to get a hold of. And Shane was probably the only guy close, at least from the neck to the chest. And he gave me his 50 jersey to play in a game that I had a uniform for another team to play.
I wore number 17 in that game.
There we
Hey,
go.
there you go.
And it all comes around.
Yeah.
Only winners wear that number, my friend.
Circle of life is complete,
Yeah.
Dom, you
The other
don't.
thing I'll say that may have been told on here before is that Shane gave me probably one of the hardest hits I ever took playing football. And Tony, you'll appreciate this. Dom, you might a little because you quarterbacks usually kind of get out of the way, but interception return, that's the only time you really get cleaned up, right, Tony? I mean, you play offense. That's why offensive linemen can play.
And the other thing too, Brent, you were linebacker depth.
Nobody.
It's an interception. How did you get that deep? Why were you that deep?
I was still thought I could. There was a year where Dan Eck only threw 4 interceptions. I swear to God, but I had 4 tackles, and I mean, those were mine. Honest to God.
Yeah. Well, you would have had that one too.
I must have thought I could still do that, but anytime, and Tony, you'll probably say the same thing. At least when you were a lineman, you never got clean. Nobody's trying to come to us. They're getting away from us. You never got cleaned up until it was an interception return. And some linebacker who's good on his feet knows that you can't break down and tackle. That linebacker was Shane down in Bunker Hill. I played with the Sharks because I owed Josh Roberts a big favor. I brought Eric Angeli and Brian Hodges down with me to give the Cougars a preseason game. And we made a valiant effort. We were outmatched. Sure. But there was a pick late, and this guy is just the perfect height that when I went down to make that tackle and the DB went one way and the other, and I got so far out of the way that my arms were like this, that his head got to here. And if you guys have heard this, I know, but I just remember Shane, I almost black out. I mean, it's like, you get the tunnel vision. You can't breathe. Next thing I know is he's got my hand like one of these when you shake a guy's hand like that on top of me, one hand on my chest going, Brent, you're going to have to breathe if we're both going to get through this. And that is exactly what he said to me. And so one of the hardest hits I ever took, and it was clean. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about today clean, but it was 2008.
Well, it was a little bit of a crack.
He got me good. And I didn't play anymore that game. And I'm telling you, that was a shot. So that's all.
Well, I
gave you a death of 1,000 cuts, and you saved it all up for one freaking hit.
Shot, baby.
Well, I felt, so when I first seen it happening, when we shifted, I was playing strong side linebacker of that game. And whenever we would shift over, I would come down to the 5-man on the D end. And anytime I was there and I was coming through, I was dealing with Brent, and I would speed rush the outside. He had these long arms, and he would always he would give me, and he wasn't getting much of me, but he'd go boop, and he'd hit me right on my shoulder, and I'm only 230 pounds, and it would just send me wide. It would just send me way off track. And then, so I get mad. So then we ran a couple stunts off the 43 over, right? So now I'm sliding inside, and then I'm hitting him, and Brent's 800 zillion pounds, and I might get him to take 2 steps back if I could really get a good bull rush. And that was it. So I was annoyed that game. I was annoyed. And
while you're shot,
I seen him. I knew it. I seen the pick and I seen it. And then I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Pardon my language.
Yeah. No, you're
like, all right. Yeah. Who's on the other foot? And I came in, and I did not mean to get him under the arm.
That's just bad breaking down on my part,
well, he was going for the tackle, but I didn't even see what a ball carrier was. Didn't care. I was just lined up.
You wanted Brent.
That was
Yeah, and it wasn't a good crack because we were kind of going the same direction.
Crack if you say
I knew it was going to hurt me, but I was like, And when he put his arms up, and he turned for the tackle. He turned his body, so instead of putting my shoulder here, my helmet got him right under his arms, and I felt the collision, so I knew he felt it too. But I was like, ooh! Then I felt immediately bad because it was not it was a helmet to the ribs, and there's no padding there. I felt like his bones, and I was like, ooh, that's rough.
I mean, I don't say this to make you feel bad. I never saw it. but I immediately knew who it was. There was no
There's no
fucking doubt in
question.
my mind. Immediately, I knew who it was. There,
Yeah,
you know,
you're like that little fucker.
that's I mean, you know, and it was just you caught me, and it wasn't dirty. You caught me reaching because I had taken the wrong step, and when my arms were like this, and you're setting up to try to get under my face mask. Holy shit! And it really, honestly, it was a good enough hit. Helmet under the arm or not, I'm not going to get up for that right away. It was a really good hit. And Shane was tough. He was always a great guy. You know, once he started playing middle linebacker and hitting the weights, he was, I think a good comp is like Chuck's a good comp. Shane Benson is a good comp. Sadly, when you guys started getting into it in 2003 and later, even when we were still 11 man, the South and the North kind of played their own division until we got together.
Yeah, we never played them
all the time. Yeah, and when we knew those guys, and then for like 3 years we didn't play them.
I only played against the Cougars once, Brent, in my entire 13 years of playing. I only played them in one 8-man game. That was it. That was the only time we ever played.
The 8-man game, we had no starters. The 8-man team was Kenny wouldn't sign off on the 8-man team unless we took backups. So I played the 8-man because it was me and Kenny Lott and Tyler Reif that wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. So he goes, well, you guys are going to hurt yourselves no matter what. Like, I know I can't tell you no. He used to drive around on Saturdays in the off season. We'd be playing pickup games around town at the college, beating up on the college kids and stuff at Blackburn. And he would drive around and find us and lecture us about this off season. We got to rest our bodies, and we're just hard headed kids. Like, well, yeah, okay, coach, And and then he would try to make us run when camp started for doing all that. So we would try to strategically plan where we were going to play our pickup game, so he couldn't find us. So. He was like, I know you guys. By this time, he just knew we were hard headed. We were going to do it anyway. So we did the 8-man, but everybody else was not starters. I think Marcus Bates played some 8-man with us one year.
We can't talk a receiver out of 8-man ball. You can't talk him out of it.
Yeah. So he was, but for the most part, we were a mess. We were just players playing for fun. I don't know if we even won very many games.
They weren't very good. I mean,
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it was. They called themselves the Macoupin County Cougars. So
we played them.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was the Hawks maybe for a second too, and originally like the Sharks played down there, then went back to Jacksonville. Josh did that.
Yeah.
In fact, I had never choked in a football game in my entire career except playing 8-man. We were beating the Spartans 49-6 at half, and then they came back and won like 50-something to 49. Like I had never choked. I don't know what,
like Quincy Spartans.
Yeah. Oh, we were smoking them,
dude. A bus had to show up at halftime, and I'm not being an asshole, but I'm telling you, man. I don't
remember that actually. I remember hearing about that on the forum afterwards. Was that 2008?
That's
amazing.
I don't remember. I just remember that I couldn't believe we were winning because I'm not delusional. I know what our talent is, and we had not talent. We had guys that were just playing, had fun, and it was good for 11-man because some of these guys, we called him Oklahoma, and then another nickname we gave him was Skittles, and he wasn't. He was not a talented. He was a little bitty guy. He was not talented, but because he played 8-man, he got a lot of field presence, and he was able to do a few things. When he did get to touch the field, he was at least competent. So it was good for most of the guys, and a lot of the guys too would try to play out of position. So our punter would come play in fact, our punter was quarterback that game against the Spartans.
Well, that's why we started. That's why we started the 8-man. The 8-man for the Outlaws, Shane, was we started playing it as a developmental
team
for the 11-man. The 11-man it just became for us. It was easier to find a grass. And it was cheaper. It was infinitely cheaper.
Well, I mean, we had the specific issue that we don't have to get into with Wiggins and his decisions, but and I guess that always bothered me because we lost 11-man. But honestly, at the end of the day, I have to say thank God we were playing 8-man there then, because we were going to be done in the Midwest Football League anyway after what that decision and how it came down.
That's true. I forgot about that.
And so, but and again. Dom, I got to tell you, Shane tells me this all the time. Once Corey left, the Cougars usually struggled, and it was usually quarterback. I mean, it was usually quarterback.
Well, Derek,
if you could have had a
Derek was
guy
our-
like Dom throwing to maybe Marcus and Marcel and those guys, you think you guys could have won a few more games?
yeah.
Didn't Bates play quarterback for you guys for a little bit?
Bates played
He did
2000. I think Bates played quarterback. I want to say 2000. I think it was like in 19 or 20.
Yeah.
No, it was in 2019. Yeah, 2019 Bates played quarterback for us. But
Wow.
outside of that, he might have did a couple snaps here and there, but it wasn't a consistent thing. I don't think, I could be wrong, but until 2019.
Wow.
I think in the
Right.
8-man he might have taken some snaps and it
8-man, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He
that's
did
what I
most of it at 8-man. Yeah, he quarterbacked a lot for us in 8-man.
I thought that Quincy game, he had a breakout game. I remember reading about it on the forum and being like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, yeah, Marcus. Well, I don't know if he was quarterbacking. I know John, our punter, was quarterbacking.
Oh, I remember John Albright.
Upright, yeah.
Yeah, I remember John. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He was our punter. He played some linebacker too, and I think he quarterbacked that game. John was a all around. He was a smart football player, and he was an all around good athlete, but he just didn't fit 100% anywhere.
Yeah. He played
he just-
Brent, I think John played for another team at some point.
It's not ringing a bell. I'd have to
I
see.
know that
He-
I know who you're talking about. I
Yeah,
He was
he
a
might have
correction
taken-
officer, I think, wasn't he?
I can't remember.
Prairie State.
Maybe, yeah, it might have been the
There
Prairie
you
State
go.
Rebels. Yeah. Somebody.
would
I
make-
wanted to say Tazewell, but somebody. But I
So-
remember, yeah.
We got like 10 minutes, Shane. I know we got a hard out on some of these guys here. But you've got to tell, number one, you've got to tell your upbringing story as you went back and learned it as much as you're comfortable with. You've got to tell everybody about your career after police, because I mean, in certain circles, this guy is really kind of a big deal. Like, I mean, you go to a Comic-Con and you're going to stand in line to talk to him, and it's crazy. He was nice enough to gift me some of the work he's done, and I've went through it, and it's really, really good. And then you got to tell us what you're doing now, because that's super freaking impressive too for a guy who was underweight to play safety. So talk about those a little, because I
Talk
think
about all of that in 8 minutes.
you
Ready to
got
go.
8 minutes to tell us about your life.
All right, so I was born in 1975. My bio dad was a Anishinaabe Little Shell, or Chippewa Little Shell, and my mom was white. And in 75, indigenous people didn't have rights to our kids. They were still taking us off the res and stuff and putting us in boarding schools and teaching us English. It wasn't that wide of a practice in 75, but it was still happening. In 78, they passed the Indian Child Welfare Act, which gave indigenous families rights to their kids. But by then I had been adopted away from him, unbeknownst to me, to my mom's new husband, who was white. So I went to school in Carlinville, an all white school, and people would say, what are you? And I'd be like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, my dad's German and my mom's Scandinavian or Dutch or something like that. And they're like, no. So, by the time I reached high school, I looked like Taylor. I looked more Indian than Taylor Lautner. So they thought I was Mexican. So my nickname all through high school was Chavez. So when I say my dad, I refer to my mom's white husband. He was a Vietnam vet. They were addicts. We had a lot of poverty. I ran away from home at 14 and slept in unlocked cars. And my grandma had a trailer in Carlinville, so I helped her with bills. I worked 2 jobs through school. And then I knew I wasn't going anywhere for, college or nothing like that. So I went in the military. And then became a squid in the Navy, floated around the ocean, realized that sucked. And I got out and went to college, used a GI Bill, got into law enforcement, and I got a cop job before I got my degree. So I just kept taking different cop or just whatever courses I wanted. I've got the Illinois Veterans Grant gave me a lot of hours to spend. So I ended up like 255 hours. I have no degree. So I just kept going to school.
Impressive.
And,
that's impressive.
that is.
Until it all ran out, and then I was like, well, I probably should have got a degree.
Right.
Well, then I was a cop for I was all over the place. I worked small towns. I worked bike patrol for BJC and the WashU Campus Police down there
Oh,
in St.
okay.
Louis.
Yep.
And then I got run over down there, but that's a story when we got more time. Um, I ended up I ended up in Boone County Sheriff's Department. Oh, I was trying to set the ISP mile and a half record. I went to the academy. It was Illinois State Police. I was 48003 class, and the mile and a half record was like 7:53 or something. Mile and a half. Like I'm gonna break it. So I'm I'm taking painkillers every day. My shin splints are through the roof, and I'm running. Like I'm people after class is over, they're going back to their bunks and playing pool. I'm running. I'm out there hitting the track. The problem was they also had a guy named Brian Stout, and he was a former SEAL, and he was 6'6", and I would have broken the record. I think I did the mile and a half in 7:40, but he did it in like 7:19.
Yeah.
So
He's got 6'6" stride.
yeah, so
Did he
my
really
first
run
lap-
ahead of you? I mean, he should have ran last, and you still would have broken the record. I mean, it's
Yeah,
terrible, man.
yeah, yeah. I ran. My first lap was 53 seconds, and he was in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
So that was just insane. But in any case, so I got into law enforcement. I did pretty well in law enforcement. I was a cowboy cop. I got suspended as much as I got awards, and I got a lot of awards. I got 2 life-saving medals. I was Officer of the Year in 2005. And I'll tell you the fun stories how I got suspended when we got more time, because those are the fun ones.
Just like football, man.
Yeah.
Hard, baby.
But yeah, so then I got stabbed in the line of duty in 2004, rescuing a woman from her husband. She was cheating on him, so she was kind of a piece of shit anyways, but you can't kill her, you know.
Not with you. I mean, is that what you? Was it you? Is that why you got stabbed? Is that? I'm just
No,
kidding.
he fled on foot. I chased him down. It was a great tackle. And he wasn't outrunning me in 2005. I was running a 4.59 and I was 230 pounds. Like he wasn't outrunning me.
Yeah.
Like I was carrying 40 pounds of gear, but it didn't matter. Like, no, I was ready to go. Like 2005, I was a peak. But yeah, so I got stabbed and then decided I didn't like copping that much. So I had a real hard time sleeping. I had a lot of nightmares, night terrors.
Yeah.
So I get anxiety before I'd go to sleep. And so I started writing. I was a nerd, so I started writing nerd stories, elves and dragons and shit.
Mhm.
To kind of wind down after a shift. It turned into a book, got published, the book took off.
Damn.
And I quit copping in 08 because I was losing money being a cop. I was making more money signing autographs and pretending to be famous. So I've done a lot in the writing. I got 30 novels. I've done TV shows. I've done projects with Peter Mayhew, who he's passed away now, but he was Chewbacca in Star Wars. I've done projects with Disney animators like Terry Naughton. I did projects with Sons of Anarchy actor Kurt Yeager. So I've done a lot of cool projects. I've done song lyrics for Sony Wright Records and Universal. Nobody big and famous, but smaller artists. But you know, still got paid. And then I got in that, and the ball was over. I got in that car crash. We talked about that and the rehab. And then after football season was over, I thought, well, I guess I'll just get old and fat again. And like 3 times in one day, powerlifting came up. And so I was like, well, maybe I should start doing that. Like 3 times in one day, they mentioned powerlifting. And a guy at the gym said, yeah, they've got, because I've all the injuries and from the car crash, I can't deadlift more than 315 because I can't grip it. My left hand I don't have no grip, and you can't wear straps. Like that's in powerlifting, it's against the rules. And then so I was just like, well, he goes, yeah, they got bench for reps, they got strict curl, they got overhead press. And I was like, I can do all of those.
Yeah.
So I just started training. I went to my first meet after football season was over down in Harrisburg, Illinois, and I set the Illinois state record on bench for reps. I did like 240 for like 17. No, the record was 17. I did 19.
Yeah.
And then they were laughing and teasing me because I never powerlifted before. And I told everybody I didn't powerlift, and I just went and set the state record. And they thought I was lifting goofy to fuck with them because I was all butterfly grip. I had no arch with my back. Like
you were lifting like a lifter, not a power lifter.
So that was actually my record you broke. That's impressive.
Yeah. So I did that, and then right after the meet, this guy goes, "You really never powerlifted?" I go, "No." He goes, "Well, are you up for tips?" I'm like, I don't really. I've got an ego, but it's a quiet one. You're never going to know it. And I like to win more than that. So yeah, I'll take all the tips you got. So he showed me where to grip the bar and where to put it in my hands and how to do an arch. And I immediately added 3 reps right after that. So I just kept training, and I now hold 5 SPF world records for 242 pound class for masters 45 to 49 age group. I just did the Strength Expo in Arkansas. I set 3 all-time records in all the federations. My top overhead press right now is 250. My top, and you can't cheat. It's strict. So
Yeah.
you get the press command and you go. You take it down to your chest to get the press command and go. And then my strict curls, I can do 160, but I've only done 155 in competition. And then my bench for reps, I set the record 240 at 30 reps. So
Good God.
You're going to turn to the 50 class here. What, and how long? Like,
oh, it's just a couple months. I'm already
Just around the
prepping
corner,
for
man.
it.
You're already, yeah, I was gonna say
there's
it's
some
probably
guys in trouble. There's a few
Yeah.
guys in trouble, man.
Yeah,
That's
I'm going to take I've already looked at them. I'm taking every one of them.
That's
In
awesome.
fact, I'm also going to bump weight and go up to the 275 class and take their bench for reps. The 50 to 54 classes, no offense to those guys, I'm not dogging them. They're strong, but their records they're not good
Yeah.
records.
Uni.
In
Yeah.
powerlifting too, you got guys like me that just never juiced or anything. And so my body, even though I'm 50 years old, is still pretty good shape.
Yeah, you didn't
And a lot
ruin
of
your
it-
joints, right? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So I got some metal and screws from football, but
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
in
they
the
all
grand
do.
scheme of things, so a
That's
lot
for
of
damn sure.
the longevity is like I'll do pretty good. And I can't even count the state. I got a bunch of Arkansas state records. I got a bunch of Illinois state records. Like
That's cool.
got a couple of national records, but
and so as a novelist and a lifter, you've never been stabbed once, correct? So
Yeah.
Don't turn out to be
No.
a good career choice.
no, what's funny is in powerlifting, your opponents cheer for you. They didn't do that in football, so
No.
it's definitely different.
Most of
I
the
remember playing a game. It was against the Bucks, and I don't remember the player's name, but I remember watching film on him, and he was like our booby. He was real shifty. And I remember going out for the coin toss, and I fucked with him, and I said, "Hey, how's your knee?" And he goes, "My knee." I go, "Yeah, your right knee." And I figured he's right leg dominant because most people are right-handed. He goes, "There's nothing wrong with my knee." And I was like, "Oh, well, I was watching film. It looked like you were kind of favoring it a little bit."
Playing some mental
Yeah.
games with this guy.
You're playing chess
Yeah.
while he's playing checkers.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that's cool. That's good." It just kind of looked like you were favoring it, And I said, "I've blown mine out. I'd hate for you to blow it out." And I swear to God, when we watch film, he never jab stepped one, and he was like Booby. He got that jab step, and then he was gone on the. He would jab step and then the cutback, and he was gone. He didn't jab step cutback that whole game, and we won the game. No, I don't think we won because of that, and it just could have been a coincidence. But I remember watching post game film. And I just kind of would giggle to myself. I can't remember his name. He was a real nice guy. He never talked noise or nothing. He was a
White
real
guy or
nice
black guy?
Black guy.
Black guy? Might
Wonder
be
if that's
Lewis
a-
Austin. I don't know.
I wonder if that was Bruce Womack.
Womack was quarterbacking, I think, then.
Oh, I thought he played. Okay, I thought he played
And
running back then.
Could have been. It wouldn't have been Marcus Cox. I don't think he'd have
No,
been.
that could have been.
No,
He wouldn't. Nah.
Marcus was playing for us that
It
year.
could have been LaShawne's
Oh.
brother, Lewis Dawson, the running back who was so fast. But his hands
Yeah,
were
he wasn't real muscular, but he was real
hands
fast.
were bad. Do you wear bandana underneath?
Yep.
Yep.
Mm.
Lewis Austin, guaranteed.
The only time Brent's memory works is
That one of the
talking
fastest
about
men-
semi-pro.
Lewis Austin ever coached. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's no, I never played dirty unless they were playing dirty. But then even my dirty
Yeah.
play was still kind of nice. Like I was even a polite dirty player. Like the worst thing I'd do is volleyball cup check you.
That's
You know?
what people like too is when you cheap shot them and you're polite about it. They usually really.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
that's everyone in this
You're gonna
podcast right now.
You're gonna catch more flags this way, but my theory was always be an escalator, not an instigator. Okay, so you're gonna take it to a 2. I'm gonna take it to a
Words to
14,
live by.
and
No,
that's when
see-
the flags come out. But you
No,
just gotta
what
let
I
them
would
know,
do
you
if
know,
you took it to a 2, I'd take it to a 5.
thank you. Don't
And
start. There
then-
won't be none though. That's it.
Well, hold on, but it still wasn't flag worthy because I knew something was coming, and then I'm flopping.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
you
how
did
many
flop,
times
yeah.
we were playing Effingham, and this guy was a big noise talker, and I think he was just trying to hype himself up. He didn't impress me.
He was his own hype man. He was his own...
Yeah, and they had a big fullback who was pretty quick for his size. They said he played for Kansas State, but I don't know. But he had a breakout. It was like a 30-yard breakout, and the safeties didn't want to tackle him because they were scared. And I was chasing a guy down, and I seen that one guy, the noise talker, and he was running with them, and I called him a pussy while we're running. I go, don't block me, pussy. And he turns to block me. I can't catch this back. He's 15 yards ahead. He's gonna score before I can catch him. And he went to block me, and I turned my back. And he blocked me in the back, and I just flat right out in front of the ref. I go, ref, what the hell? He got the flag,
There
run
you
came
go.
back, and then we ended up getting a fumble after that, and they didn't score. And that was kind of dirty, you know.
That's not dirty. That's smart. That's
Oh.
that's
kinda dirty,
strategy.
Dude, it's
kinda dirty.
It's some weak sauce. I mean, it works.
It's
It
definite
is.
weak
I'm
sauce,
fucking-
but it's
I've-
strategy.
God, if I could count every Jacksonville Shark who turned their back to me every time I'm about to lay it on them,
What about
I just swear to
hands
God.
to the face too?
Ugh.
You could get
Hands to the okay, hands to the faces. At least they're looking at you, man.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Shane, it's awesome to see you, buddy. Shane's another guy though, always a member of the American Football Association. Every year sends us $50. Has been out to Canton to watch other people get inducted. I mean, he loved this shit, and
Yeah.
I do think he's one of the most interesting people.
Oh,
in
definitely.
this whole story that I've ever
What?
met.
I even got to coach too because after 2019, I coached linebackers and signal called the defense from 2020 to 23. And then the only reason I stopped helping Kenny with the Cougars was I moved down here to Arkansas. So I went and watched. They had a brand new team start up called the Kings. And I've been trying to get to a game. I couldn't get to a game. And they made it to the championship. So while I bought tickets and I was down at the expo. As soon as the expo was over, they gave me my awards. Like, it was rude, but I just bolted. I'm like, I'm out. I drove like 80 miles an hour from Little Rock up to Conway to Hendrix College to watch them play.
Oh, nice.
I'm still in my singlet. And I didn't change nothing. I had no time. Like, and I don't want to miss kick. Nothing annoys me. Missing kickoff to me is like missing the previews of a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's just annoying. You know, you want to see the preview. So I'm getting there and I'm watching the game, and they were down 12-3, and it was just goofy stuff. They were just, and I'm spouting off from the stands. I'm yelling, "Coach, we're 2 minutes in the second quarter, and I haven't seen the quarterback under pressure. Fucking blitz." You know, I'm yelling from the stands, and I was like, "Hit the B gap." And then I'm like, "They're only running off tackle." And I'm yelling all this from the stands. And then this lady goes, "Who are you?" And I thought, "Oh, I'm about to get kicked out."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm sorry, I'll be quiet." She goes, "Yeah, but what's your name?" So I was like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." And I didn't say nothing the rest of the game. I got real quiet, And it turns out it was somebody new at the team. So they've talked to me, and they're like, "Well, are you interested in coaching?" And
There
I
you
was
go.
like, "Well," he goes, "I think I heard you from the stands." And I was like, "Well, sorry. I was excited to finally see a game. And I just set 3 all-time powerlifting records, and I was just hyped."
A little amped up. Yeah.
They lead the
Yeah.
league now. They lead the league now in called back touchdowns for blocking the back.
Yeah,
so
right.
Shane's
Yeah.
making an impact all day long, man.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Well,
I know they got some hard outs here, buddy.
Yeah.
But dude, I love seeing you. And
Oh, yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
you were still up here and I could catch you all the time, man. But
Real-
he got out
real-
of Illinois.
Real quick before we go, the banquet is in October again, which is so
Yeah.
annoying because if he does it that first weekend, that's Masters Nationals.
I think we'll get it back to June. I think, and here's the thing: the USFL was playing the same weekend, and they had booked hotel rooms for us, and
Yeah.
totally regretted it.
Yeah.
Now that league's, because high school coaches need to go too, and then so anyway,
Yeah.
look for it next year to finally come off of that. If you can't go, I'll make
Yeah.
sure people know you wanted to be there. And I know
Well,
Dom,
I'll
that
go.
same year that he was coming was the year that you had the family emergency. But yeah, I mean,
I know. I'll be there this October.
it's a trip to make when you guys have the time, and I know Tony, it's right in the middle of season
I know.
for you.
I know.
mean,
I was.
if we can get it back to June. I mean,
I was gonna go when Dan went in, but we just had Frankie too, so it was the timing was just bad. But yeah, June is definitely infinitely better for selfishly
Well,
for
I
me to
went-
go.
I'd have went last year's, but it also was
Yeah.
on Masters Nationals, which isn't that big of a deal. It's a world qualifier. I can set world records there, but it's not that big of a deal. But I was moving. So, and he
Okay.
had set it for June. So I had
Last
hotel
year,
reserved.
Yeah.
I had hotel reserved and everything. And then they moved it October last minute. And I was like, I just can't. Like, I literally can't. I can
Yeah.
this year because I seen it's going to be in October, although he didn't say the weekend.
Hey,
But-
it's a fun trip, and the Midwest Football League is getting, and the 8-man football league are getting represented well out there now.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. You know,
Oh,
Chuck
yeah.
Ridgeway, you see Chuck Ridgeway, you see Big Rich, you see Jamie Ford.
Oh, I'll be out there. I'll be out there this year for sure. It doesn't matter. But yeah, June. I hope he does move it back to June.
I think it's coming back, but
that'll be so
I
much
appreciate
better.
you, buddy. And I know this
Yeah.
was short notice, so thanks again for jumping
No,
on.
thanks, Shane.
Appreciate it.
We'll definitely have to have you back on sometime
Yeah.
soon, man. I appreciate you
Yeah,
coming on,
anytime.
dude.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
give me more notice, I can promo.
We will.
I got
You
Mike,
know,
We will.
that
We
is
will.
on us, not
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
I
you
got-
stepping up.
like I've got 50,000 followers on Facebook. Like somebody, I don't know how many would watch, but somebody would watch.
Oh, we'll get yeah. Well,
Hey, Tony will post it, and we'll
I'll
send you
post
the
it.
link.
Yeah, I'll post and tag you in it, so we'll get it out
You
there.
can put it on your superstar page or whatever it is you have. You know.
Yeah, right.
You have a
So-
nerd page.
Yeah.
I'll
All
see
right,
you
guys.
Guys.
Take
Take
care.
care, man.
Bye.